All right, fantastic. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Apologies for last week, a few technical difficulties. We've got our fingers crossed that this evening runs smoothly. All right, so where's everyone from here? Let us know where you're tuning in from. Looking forward to answering all of your questions today about collagen and bone broth. Fantastic. Looks like we have Darlene from Toronto, Shannon from Toronto. Welcome. Patricia from Oakville. Brian from Vancouver. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. So while we're waiting for some more people to jump on here, let me know anyone that's tuned in here, anyone who makes their own bone broth at home. Let me know if you are, is that something that you normally do? If you something you enjoy to do? As I sip here on my bone broth myself, here we're going to kick things off. It's terrific to be able to talk about two things that I've been using in my practice and personally for a number of years now, and that's namely bone broth and collagen. As I said, I'm over here in the UK at the moment. My evening bone broth with collagen here as we give this talk. So let's just jump right in here, and you guys please feel free to ask questions as we go. Definitely want to make sure that you get all your questions answered. Terrific. Well, yeah, bone broth. What is it? Well, this is something that in traditional diets around the world for hundreds and hundreds of years. It doesn't matter if you're in the Americas, Asia, India. This is a nutrient-rich stock that effectively, all these traditional cultures cooked nose to tail, and so they used every last bit of the animal. And effectively, there's some areas that we won't really typically consume, areas around the bone, the gristly bits. And this is where we find in the bone broth, we do find collagen. So in chicken bone, type 2 collagen, and beef, type 1 and 3. And in bone broth, you're getting smaller amounts you're getting collagen, but you're also getting other proteins. You're getting what we call glycosaminoglycans, which are joint-friendly compounds like glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid, as well as a really full complement of minerals. And now, has anyone here listening in here, has anyone tried the bone broth? Have you got any favorites in terms of ways that you like to use it? Darlene says, I'd like to make my own at home. However, I understand it takes a long time. It does take a long time. It's tremendous to do, to make at home. It's quite easy using a slow cooker. You're typically roasting the bones initially with a little bit of acetic acid and then letting it simmer in a slow cooker for a number of hours. So, it can be a nice thing to do around the holidays if you do have some time. But this is definitely one of those areas where something convenient and handy like Organica's bone broth products is basically like food in a bottle. And so that's why convenience is such a big advantage with this kind of product. Jamie has tried the original chicken. Use it when making quinoa, sipping on its own, and when cooking veggies. Yeah, it's fantastic. That's you can definitely use it. Excuse me. Now, when you're cooking up some grains, making soups is fantastic. My personal favorite is the chicken ginger bone broth. The ginger is true ginger, so you're getting this benefit of the actual ginger itself, which is very potent immune support, helps to increase antimicrobial proteins. Terrific. Well, as we look through the different benefits here, I mean, I definitely think of bone broth as an overall tonic, support for multiple areas of the body. We mentioned minerals today in terms of the soils around, especially around the GTA, around Toronto area, but even around North America are nutrient depleted compared to generations past. So getting more minerals in the diet is key, as well as our diets tend to be heavier based in terms of grains, whether it's breads, pasta, granola bars. So that, a lot of processed foods are richer in some of these things. So that can skew the balance and lead to lower mineral levels as well. Things like immunity, especially this time of year, massively important. One of the gags there, the heparin sulfate, is key for helping to support immunity, as well as things like zinc and iron. Joint support is a really nice, easy win with some of the bone broth, as well as areas like things like skin, joints, sleep. This is where collagen is kind of the all-star protein within the bone broth. And amongst the amino acids that make up the collagen, glycine itself is really contributing a lot heavily to a lot of the benefits. We typically have a really heavy muscle meat-based diet if you're in the West versus a balance of, again, all this other parts of the animal. And so this helps to balance that out a little bit more. Has anyone used this at all for in the afternoon, that 3:00 period at the office? It's really great as a mild appetite suppressant with the collagen. It helps to buffer appetite a little bit. So that can be a way to prevent that afternoon snacking. Terrific. Let's move along to the collagen. This is definitely, again, as the bone broth is really, you can generally think of it as an overall support for multiple areas. Collagen, you're just getting more concentrated form of this particular amino acid complex. And of course, collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. A collagen supplement is more processed, but this is in a good way, in a sense that makes it more bioavailable. So it's hydrolyzed to make it more absorbable by the body. And of course, this is the gristly bits of the meat that people aren't typically eating, and you get a different array of types of collagen between chicken and beef as well. And so the amino acids are really the key here, especially a lot of the hydroxylated amino acids, which are things like hydroxyproline, that are crucial for joint health. So if you're trying to get a heavier dose of more of a therapeutic dose of collagen, so if you're looking for real joint support, you do need about 15 grams. A lot of the work of Keith Barr at UC Davis in California on gelatin, and of course the same amino acid profile between gelatin and collagen. Excuse me. And so timing that an hour before activity with a little bit of vitamin C, so you can have a squeeze of lemon, lime in there as well, is a great way to preferentially get it taken up by the joints. Again, the heavier dose of collagen also gives you a much bigger dose of glycine, which is a tremendous nervous system support, helps to relax your nervous system. So again, we're into the coldest, darkest, shortest days of the year. I think today might be actually the coldest, darkest, shortest of the year. And so that's a great support in the evening if you're trying to unwind, especially if you spend a lot of time in front of a computer, your days are really busy. We know in terms of skin that we're seeing a lot of really cool evidence against wrinkle prevention, even UVB damage. So UVB rays is what you actually need to get benefit from the sun. But if you overdo it or have to stay out quite a long time in the sun, then that's one that you can think about as well. And of course, one that's very popular is digestive system. So things like if you have digestive dysfunction, if there's a lot of leaky gut, so food allergies, autoimmune, foggy brain, unexplained discomfort and pain. So anyone listening in, have you used the collagen product? Let us know. Also, how do you like to use it as well? Darlene says, I have used it for gut and joints. And again, it's important to note that it's the constituents that help to build up the joint. I think there's a question previously around anti-inflammatory properties. It's less so anti-inflammatory, more so just the constituents required to build strong and healthy joints. Darlene, how important is the animal fed? How important is it that the animal is fed organically? What is the detriment or not? Well, with things like the enhanced collagen, the key here is that it's pastured or grass fed. And so this can get confusing, but organic is not always the same thing as grass fed. And so grass fed or pastured is the real sort of key here. And oftentimes the practices there are really regenerative type agriculture and sustainable type agriculture. And you'll often see this even if you go to restaurants, you'll see organic, grain-fed beef, etc. So the grass-fed's really the key here for the beef product, and for the bone broth with the chicken bone broth. Those are free-run chickens that are fed soy and corn-free diets, GMO-free diets as well. Great question from Thorny. I use it in the morning. The package says 1 tablespoon. Is this enough? I assume this is in relation to the collagen. 1 is a nice overall support. It's 8 grams of protein. Again, I would say that's a good dose to have, and you can have that multiple times through the day if you like. The only caveat there would be if you are looking for joint support, then what we see in the literature is a 15-gram dose. So you could do 2 tablespoons if that was the case for you. Shannon says, I love subbing it in the afternoon instead of an extra coffee. Yep, that's the other thing, the bone broth, that can definitely help. And of course, the collagen is the constituent which helps to suppress the PYY hormone in the gut, which will help to keep appetite under control. So much of the time, if you're snacking at work, it's not because we're hungry. It's because of external cues. It's because of stress. It's because of boredom. So this is a really nice way to keep that in your desk drawer, and to add that into some herbal teas that are lying around the office as a way to support the body and to support body composition and weight loss. This time of year as well, I'll just add that obviously collagen is a real home run for a lot of the baking. You can really throw it into just a number of different recipes if you want to just bump up the protein content of different treats, desserts, muffins, things that might be going around this time of year. Is kind of a nice way to do it, especially if you're cooking with different types of fats, like using things like coconut oil. You can really, get a good array of nutrients in some of the treats and things that typically going to have this time of year. So again, just to round up, the bone broth, hypoallergenic, tested for heavy metals, PCR tested, so non-GMO completely. The chickens are, again, free run and organically grain fed. The bovine, the beef sources are grass fed. Of course, always antibiotic and growth hormone free. That's one of the hallmarks of Organica, is the quality in terms of sourcing. For me, again, the big ones are teas, soups, and gravies with the bone broth. But again, we heard some nice comments from folks here in terms of some other ways of using it as well, with cooking rice and quinoa and whatnot. Collagen, pasture-raised beef, non-GMO, same idea, antibiotic, growth hormone free, mixes really easily, which is great. A little tip there: if you're making protein shakes and whatnot, sometimes it can foam up a little bit. So if you want to add it in at the very end, is what I do. You just kind of pulse it in at the end. Of course, if you like to have your shakes with a little bit of froth, then by all means, go for it. Awesome. We'll throw it back out for some more questions. Again, anything to do with bone broth, collagen, any of these products, health this time of year, happy to answer any questions. Yeah, Brian says here, the organic powders are great for saving time. Totally agree, Brian. This is stuff that I take the convenient sachets of the collagen when I'm traveling, the single serving ones, as well as some of the bone broth with me, especially if I'm at conferences, long days when I don't want to be overdoing the coffee and the caffeine. Is a really nice way to get that in, or even during flights as well. Terrific. Well, we got a couple of fantastic giveaways. We got 2 lucky winners here that are going to get a fantastic prize pack. You're going to get a terrific coffee traveler mug, a fantastic Swell water bottle, one of your choice, the bone broth beef or chicken, along with the enhanced collagen. And I'm going to be throwing in a copy of my Paleo Project book as well. Everyone tuning in today will get a free ebook of my Keto Quick Start Guide as well. So stay tuned, and the team at Organica will be getting those in for you. And let's just have a look here for our lucky winners. We've got Darlene here. Darlene Christie is one of our lucky winners. And the next lucky winner is Thorny Torkelson as well. So congratulations. You both have won the prize pack here, the giveaway. So coffee mug, swell water bottle, bone broth of your choice, enhanced collagen, and some nice reading over the holidays. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Please stay connected with us on social media. Get social with us there. Follow at Organica Health, as well as you can reach out to me. Any questions, comments, love to hear from you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Dr. Bubbs. And give us your feedback on today's Facebook Live, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.